What would happen if you let a sim control something as simple as the books that you read? As the player, we are usually the ones that decide what our sims do and therefore read. I'm going to give my sim the control for once.
What?
In doing so, this experience put me through so many loops and emotions. I go through 10 books in this video, so buckle up as I take you on a journey. I think I may have been a bit too ambitious, but I'm going to do it. I have nothing else to do. Hello humans, and welcome to letting my sim choose the books that I read. The Sims 4 has a good variety of books to offer, anything from skill books to non-fiction books to fantasy, pretty much anything you could want. Because there are so many, I wanted to give my sim all the possible options of books to choose. That meant buying every single possible book to add to my bookshelf. Every single one, including books from the werewolf pack that I wasn't even originally going to buy straight away, but I did, solely for the purpose that there were books added. I wasn't about to limit my sim's choices, the only exception being the second and third editions of skill books. I straight up bought the werewolf pack just so I could get these books. Okay, I think that is every single book I could buy. So in total, 150 books added, which, by the way, was 14,238 simoleons. We're just gonna click it and have her read something. And whatever she picks, but I'm gonna try to match the most to a real life book. Oh. No, not a cooking book! First book I'm going to read is a cooking book. Every time after a stream, I tend to do something to wind down and just kind of chill. And I couldn't think of a better way to do that today than to read a cookbook. I ended up choosing this one, all recipes from the Friends TV show that I happen to have. I've actually never read this. College edition. I dropped out of college, so maybe I shouldn't be able to read this. I'm gonna do it anyway. So I have read every single recipe, skimming over the ingredients and the actual cooking part, but I did read everything. Why read a cookbook if you're not gonna cook anything? So I'm gonna try and cook a recipe from here. Book number 1, what we having. Why is it burning? No one told you life was gonna be this way. I don't know how to rank this book. It's a cookbook. What do you want from me? I decided to cook the mac and cheese because that seemed like the easiest to not mess up. I do not feel like I am doing this correctly. Peeing! What is a bechamel? Can someone elaborate that? Although I definitely had struggles. That would happen to me. I also decided to make the Tiki Death Punch drink. This drink is fun. I did it. The texture of the cheese is not right. I was really confused. It's actually really good though. I mean, you can't really mess with a mac and cheese that many ways. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I did it. This is really good though. Would recommend. And then I ate my meal while watching the episode from the book. Easy recall magic tricks. Do you aspire to do magic but can't remember the tricks? This amazing magic book is packed with easy to execute tricks. Do you aspire to do magic but can't remember the tricks? Read this. What the What is this assortment of books that I'm gonna have to read over this week? At this point, I own no books that fit what my sim read, so I went shopping. I got books. First, I went to a secondhand bookstore to try to find some cheap options because I didn't really want to buy. Well, at first I went to the library. I didn't find anything that I could use for this video that would make sense. This is the magic book I got. This is the book that we're going to be reading next. Rhythm of Magic. Like, Rusty Pixels has magic. Should probably not have this open where the trick is literally right there and you can see my secrets. Hello, my name is Rusty Pixels and I read this magic book. In doing so, I have learned some tricks that I would like to show you. Welcome to my magic show. I have a box here. As you can see, this box is empty. I can put my hand through it. That's pretty epic. As well as the tube inside of it. As you can see, I can put my hand through it. Every space is empty, just like the pits of my soul. But are you sure about that? When I say the magic words, oh wait, I forgot. When I say the magic words, shebang, shazam, leviosa, open sesame, stuffed animal aperio, avada kedavra. Watch what happens. PogChamp, the most powerful words on the internet. A spoon! Magic! Oh my god, did I chat? I mean internet? Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude! Did I just create an accidental cosplay of my Minecraft skin? This is really kind of smushes my nose and is very hot. So that is my magic trick. I hope you come to my next show. I will be charging $10,000 for every show with exclusive content. I'm just gonna keep this here now. I've read the entirety of this book. It was kind of more of a crafts book than a magic book. I learned some quality things, so. Yep, that was my first magic book experience. Let's move on to the next book. That wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, that looks like a normal book. Oh. Hey, I'm all for trying new things, but that was literally sheet music. Can't really read that. Kind of like the equivalent of trying to read something in a different language. How to seriously injure someone with this book. The pen may be mightier than the sword, but no one expects the old book to the face. Go ahead, read it. That's right, lean in nice and close. Interesting choices that my sim is choosing to read. Actual bookstore, which I spent a lot of money on. There's a buy two, get one 3 deal. On top of the ones that I bought in the bookstore, I also got more. I couldn't help myself. I have a problem. The next book that my sim read was a non-fiction book called How to Seriously Injure Somebody with This Book. Sadly, could not find a version of that in real life. There really needs to be one. I would love to read that. I tried to find something that kind of gave me the vibes, and I ended up getting this. It just looks cute and funny and weird. It's a non-fiction book, so I think it works. I searched hard and wide to try to find something that like fit the vibe of that, and this was the closest I got. Hello. I have finished the book in one sitting. So it took me about 2.5 hours because it is a graphic novel. Mortality book. I actually quite enjoyed it. This is not a book that I would ever normally pick up. It's a mix between a graphic novel and not. So that was Solutions and Other Problems. I don't think I have many hardback covers that are just yellow. I think it's kind of cute. Probably will put it on my shelf without the hard case on it. It was a good break. It had a good mix of like humorous short stories about life and their journey and like other shit. This was a pleasant surprise. I don't know what I would rate it. I did like it a lot. I tab my books and remember like things that I gravitated towards or really liked or whatever. If you can't win, start playing a different game and score just as many points. Overall, good experience. Keeping in theme with the title of the Sims book, I think I know how to seriously injure somebody with this book. What is that? What even is? I guess I'm gonna learn how to act. Give me like a normal book. Oh, I acquired the acting skill by reading that. So then I went to another secondhand bookstore just to check to see if I could find any cheaper options for books because I spent a lot of money today for this video. I hope it does well. I hope you like it. A passion for acting. So this is obviously the acting one. I have no idea. The next book that my sim read was an acting volume 1 book, exploring the creative process. I'm gonna start reading it tonight. It's only 185 pages. Shouldn't take me too long. I'm kind of feeling like red because actors are evil. Green? Green. That's a color in film for evil sometimes. Well, jealousy. Yes, because I'm jealous of the actors who have a lot of money and are way prettier and way cooler than I am. That's the vibe we're going for. So I'm like almost 60 pages in. I'm struggling. My goal was to finish this tonight, but I don't know if I will be able to do that. It is the next day and I have finished reading A Passion for Acting. Have I gained a passion for acting? No. No, I have not. Was it a thrilling read? No. No, it was not. Was it easy to get through? No. No, it was not. I did read all this book. There are things that did resonate with me and I did like. Most of the time it was just reading and going in one eye and out the other. Internally, my brain was just elevator music. It definitely took me a little bit longer to read because of that. I don't want to be an actor. I never have. Okay, well there was a stint where I did want to be an actor. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I mean, putting myself out there for everyone to see, I don't think that's for me. However, if this was a sim skill, I think my skill would go up like a tiny fraction of a percent. If I had to give this a rating, it'd probably be like a 1.5 or a 2. I want her to get like a normal book. Literally, there's been no normal books. What is that? No, not the wolf book. The Wolf Next Door. What is As the handshake ended, Ginger felt her inner wolf cry out. There was a connection between the two of them, one that both terrified and excited her. Had he felt it as well? The thought weighed heavier in her heart than she anticipated. Oh no, not one of the... I don't want to read a werewolf book. There was an actual book called The Wolf Next Door, but I will not be caught dead buying this book. I'm sorry. Upon research, I came across some very interesting covers. You know the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? I think that saying applies to literally everything but books. If I'm going to buy a book, I want it to look cool, not whatever these are. Listen, if that's what you like, I'm not gonna fault you for it. But me, I am harshly judging all of these. At least be, I don't know, discreet? Just a suggestion. The people who read these have no shame, and I applaud you for that. I'm gonna stay safe and go for the young adult route for this book because after looking at these covers, not reading a young adult book scares me, especially in the werewolf realm. You just don't know what to expect. Honorable mention, the title of this one is called My Girlfriend Bites. Also, why are literally all of these series? Best fit the description of the sim book that I could find without being insane. I'm not going to be buying a physical copy of this book because one, I don't read them very often, and I wasn't about to pay full price for a book that I probably won't like very much. But that's not the point. The point is to suffer for content. Maybe if I pretend it's a fan fiction, that will make it all better. So it's the next day and I have finished the werewolf romance book. I chose Shiver by Maggie Seifvader. I will say this, I think it is very much the book that my sim read. Things heat up fast for Ginger when she meets the mysterious werewolf next door. It's not long before she feels the moon's pull. I was not having the best time reading this. Very hard to push through the awkward dialogue and scenarios that are happening between these two characters. The writing was really hard to get through. The dialogue, how the characters acted. It was very, I don't want to say cringy because it's just not for me. If you like this type of writing, you are probably a small teenager. Not small, a younger teenager. I won't lie, I feel like if I read this when I was younger, I may have eaten it up. I don't know. I am definitely not the target audience of this. The interactions were so cringy. At the beginning, it was kind of stalkerish. It very much felt like an episode story to me at times. No, like the whole time. It did get slightly better towards the ending, but even that wasn't good. I don't even know how to like take it in, you know? If it's for you, great. It wasn't for me. I can't even like talk about it without like physically, like it was so awkward. It was so awkward to read. There's a legitimate part in this book where the main guy describes himself as a leaking womb. What does that even mean? I don't ever want to hear that phrasing. I don't ever want to hear someone describe themselves as that ever again. I did read it all in one day. It was easy to get through in the sense that it didn't hurt my brain to read, but I was physically like, I really just have no words. It wasn't fun. If I would have picked this book up for any other reason besides this video, I would not have finished it. I didn't care. I felt weird. I felt like I should not be reading this book. It was a weird situation all around. Final, no, no. Last one I got from the secondhand store really caught me off guard, and when I saw this, I could not pass it up. Dusk Glow by Bella Jacobs. This is the classic that started it all. Supernatural romance at its best. Young Darla must decide between a bad boy vampire and a nice werewolf boy who is friends with her dad. Guess who she picks? No, not Twilight. Twilight ripoff one, basically. That's what my sim chose to read. So this is gonna be fun. This is the reason that I bought the werewolf pack specifically for this. And I saw at this bookstore, I saw something called Nightlight, a parody. The book that's in the werewolf pack feels like what this was when I saw it. It's a pretty short book. It won't take me too long to read, which is also nice. Yeah, why two of them? There wasn't very many werewolf books. Why did you give me two of them? I'm going to move on to Nightlight. I really have no idea what to expect from this book. When you see this in a secondhand bookstore, you can't pass it up, or at least I could not, because I am just so intrigued. I'm reading this so I can tell you about the experience of reading it. I'll see you when I'm done. I finished it. I don't even know how to begin to describe the experience I just had. Here's the best way that I can try and explain the experience of this. I felt like an AI tried to generate a version of Twilight, and then someone read that AI generated version of Twilight, and then went to bed, had a dream about this generated version of Twilight, and then they tried to write a book based on their dream version. About 3 things I was absolutely certain. First, Edward was likely my soulmate, comma, maybe. Second, there was a vampire part of him, which I assumed was wildly out of his control, that wanted me dead. And third, I unconditionally, irrevocably, impenetrably, heterogeneously, gynecologically, and disreputably wished he had kissed me. And thus Bella Goose falls in love with the mysterious, sparkly Edward Mullen in Switchblade, Oregon, instead of Forks. She soon discovers Edward, a super hot computer nerd with zero interest in girls. After witnessing a number of strange events, Edward leaves his tater tots, trademark, untouched at lunch. Edward saves her from a flying snowball. Belle has a dramatic revelation. Edward is a vampire, but how can she convince Edward to bite her and transform her into his eternal bride, especially when he seems to find girls so repulsive? Insufficient parental guardianship, creepy stalker-like behavior, and vampire prom. Vampire-obsessed girls looking for love in all the wrong places. So this was truly a gem. Quite frankly, I'm not entirely sure if I didn't just hallucinate the whole thing. I forgot to mention, but I gave this book like a 1.5 2. It was slightly more enjoyable than the werewolf one because it's not supposed to be serious, but not by much. A Roadmap to Love. Yeah, I sure hope it does. A quirky novel about a teenager who is separated from her high school sweetheart only to cross paths and rekindle their romance overseas 10 years later. Flirty and emotional, so a romance book. The Roadmap to Love one was technically labeled flirty and emotional fictional or something in The Sims. Tried to get one that had similar vibes, or at least a similar trope, which is rekindled love, childhood love to current love. And this is the only cover that my store had, which honestly I like the other cover better, but I've heard really good things about this author. I got flirty from this book, so let's see if a real life book can do that. Safe to say, I am super excited to be reading a normal book now. Well, okay, besides Shiver, but that wasn't a normal book. I'm not a huge romance person, but I do like my romance books every now and again. Oh, this has been an experience. I'll see you when I finish this book. I finished Love in Other Words. This book was so good. It was so refreshing to read a normal book. I should not have started it before I went to bed because I read half of the book, about 200 pages worth, before I fell asleep because that's how good it was. Didn't even realize I read that much. It was super smooth and easy and nice read. All the other books I was like dreading, like how fast can I get this book done, and like this one didn't feel like that. It felt like reading again. I was so grateful for it. The story is told through present time and then flipping back to when they met in their history, so it's back and forth. They get separated and then they don't talk to each other for 10 years. She randomly bumps into him in a like coffee shop or something. That sparks the whole thing of going back and forth, which was really nice to keep like my brain focused. You just want to keep going to figure out what the reason that they were separated was. Wasn't entirely what I was expecting. There's with characters that I actually really like. I haven't really read a childhood friends to lovers book. Only 5? Wait, I haven't really only read 5 romance books. Yeah, this is my 5th romance book that I've read. One that I quite enjoyed. I rated it a 4 stars, so it's pretty good. Cool too because they like both were readers. I would recommend it. It's very enjoyable. The book? Oh god. What is wrong with you? Actually, what is wrong with you? What do you mean mischief book? What book would I'm just getting the most chaotic ones. The next one is kind of a curveball because my sim decided they wanted to read a mischief volume 1, what's funny, what's illegal, and I'm not sure if something like that exists, but I decided to get a joke book and now I'm on to the mischief book for Sims. I almost scrapped the mischief book entirely. Feels like something that would be in the mischief skills, so I don't feel like in Sim world it doesn't feel that far off to me. However, I am not going to read every single page of this book just because I don't feel like it's worth it to read every single joke in here, because I think it's something that would be funny to have a coffee table book type thing. I don't want to know every single joke because then that ruins it. What is this one? No. My sim just wants me to get max skills, I guess. Oh, I can perform yoga poses, meditate, and give a massage now. The next book my sim read was a wellness one. I took that as a self-help book because it just felt right in my mind, especially because wellness is like spa and yoga and like that type of stuff. So I took it more as a mental way. I ended up choosing this one. It's called The Comfort Book. It's like a really like cute book. Nothing is stronger than a small hope that doesn't give up. I don't know how I'll feel about it, but the reason I picked it up is because the author wrote The Midnight Library, which I really like. Thought I'd be a little more safer choosing a book by an author that I like. I don't know how much help it's gonna do. You know, I got the internet for that, but regardless, focus on the book. Why is it still so bright? So I'm gonna be reading these two and I will update you when I finish both of these. I finished the joke book and the comfort book. I learned enough that I think my skill in mischief would go up if I was a sim. That was the point, right? Let me tell you a joke with my newfound jokey skill. What were the 2 garden hoses expecting? A little squirt. That's the one that resonated with me. Wait, no, I got one more. Okay, I'll give you one more. Why did Mario have to leave work? He had a fight with the boss. Editing me? Add fake applause. Here. Let me read a random one. Ready? Why was the sink so unhappy with the scrubber? It was sponging off of everyone. What? That's enough from that. That's enough of that. My mischief skill is off the roof. Is off the roof? Off, in, out of the roof. It's at level 2. I am at the 2nd level of the roof now. The next book was the self-help wellness book, or the comfort book. Just a collection of random things to try to make you feel better about life. I tapped a lot of things in this book because I find that even if they're just words, they can bring comfort to be reminded things when you need it. Sometimes to be reminded of happiness makes it more possible. Get out of your own way. Being yourself isn't something you have to do. You were born yourself and you didn't even have to try. In fact, trying is the whole problem. You can't try to be, you can only let yourself be. As you know, as a person, I struggle with, you know, being myself, which is like the top like advice anyone gives you. Trying to be yourself, just be. Just be a bee. just Probably will find myself flipping through it occasionally. It was a cute little book, also something I would never usually pick up. For what it is, I give it a 4 stars. Read normal book? No. Uh-oh. Okay, a classic, Reel Her In. A romance, multifaceted book gives the ultimate advice for chauvinists who don't know that word. Fishermen looking to reel in women and fish. They're the right bait and they fall at your feet. Amazing. Okay, getting another romance book in there. I read the description of Reel Her In, right? And it just gave me all bad vibes and not something that I would enjoy. So I decided to just go for a classic romance book. I usually read fantasy, so I guess it's getting me reading more romance. I would just choose one that's been on my TBR. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is the romance book that I am going to be reading for Reel Her In. I finished Book Lovers, a final book in reading my Sims books escapade, and I did enjoy it. It was a good, nice read. I found it funny how different it was from Love and Other Words, even though it's a romance book, but very different vibes, very different tropes. Kind of a play on the typical Hallmark-like movie, like, oh, move to small town and fall in love with that person who owns a small business type vibe. It is a little cheesy, but I would say it's a respectable cheese. It's funny because I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley, and every time they were describing this small town, all my brain could connect was like, oh my god, it's like Stardew Valley. Yeah, I need a life. But it was really good at the beginning. I really liked the intro and the vibe going into it. It became a little less interesting to me towards the end. The dynamic between the characters, and I think the best thing that this book had was the banter between the two main characters. The banter, I feel like the banter and the dialogue and how it was written made up for a lot of things. The cover is like slightly misleading. I don't really know what I was expecting from this book. Based on the cover, I would have expected more books to be involved. Like, obviously they did talk about books, which was a fun thing. It's more on the business side of things. I feel like they obviously still both have a passion for books, more on the editorial or agent side in the book realm, which I still pleasantly enjoyed. City book people. Overall, it was a good book. I had a good time. I don't think it's a perfect 4 to me. I'd probably give it like a 3.75 stars. And that concludes all of the books for this video. Woo! Ah! That was a fun noise. I liked that. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed. That was a long boy. I've never done anything like that before, but I had so much fun doing it. It's kind of cool to dive into the realm of all the possibilities books have to offer, albeit in a very strange way. The thing about books that I find so interesting, every person gravitates towards different things. Everyone has a different book collection, and I just added all of these to mine. Will I ever read some of these again? Absolutely not. But it serves as a reminder of all that is out there. Maybe years down the line, I'll look at these books at the top of my shelf and be like, what the heck? Why did I buy these? And then be reminded of this stupid little video and the reason for doing so. And that maybe, every once in a while, I should step out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna go read a fantasy book now. Thank you for watching. See you next time and have a good. That's everything. Guys, it worked that time. It worked that time. Oh, it's raining. Oh my god, my stomach.